Yankees, as presently constructed, they're tied with the Phillies for the best record in baseball. And they're going to get back Garrett Cole, who starts tonight in Somerset, Don. I'm surprised you're not there because it's a big game.
Am I not here?
No, but you could have done this show from Somerset.
They didn't. Well, I got a request. No, I'm good. I enjoy that place. I'm sure it's going to be packed. It's going to be amazing. But it didn't occur to me to go do it from there. But now that you say it, I feel like I did a poor job.
Yeah, maybe you did.
Maybe I did.
Anyway, the Yes Network is going to replay the Garrett Cole start at noon before our show tomorrow. So that's something to note. They can't run it live today because obviously there's a Yankee game against the Twins. But anyway, the Yankees is presently constructed, knowing that you're going to get back Cole, barring an unforeseen setback. It's a pretty good team, man. I mean, the only team that I've seen so far live that has matched or come close to matching them is the Orioles. All the teams in the Central, Yankees handled the Guardians 2 out of 3. They split with, people that were saying that the Mariners are the second best team in the American League, it's lunacy. They're not the second best team in the American League. So I think the Yankees and the Orioles, if you want to look at a negative for the Yankees, they're playing out of their minds, right? And they have not pulled away from the Orioles. They're one game better in the loss column.
The only negative, there is no negative. I mean, Philadelphia is amazing. Dodgers are great. Orioles are great. The problem is that only 11 teams in Major League Baseball are above 500.
Yep.
So from a history standpoint, I don't know if this necessarily measures up to other great Yankee runs because I think baseball's terrible right now. But the Yankees can only play who they're playing. But clearly, I think that I think they're right now, no offense to the Orioles, because I think there needs to be a little bit more of a pedigree for them. There are 3 truly great teams in baseball, the Yankees, Phillies, and Dodgers. And we'll see if the Orioles can prove otherwise. But even if you wanted to include them in the list, Michael, that's only 4. Yeah. That's it. I'm not putting Seattle there.
You can't put Atlanta there without Acuna.
You can't. Atlanta they're 7 games out, Michael, and they lost one of their best players and not the best player. I can't take any of the Central teams in either league just because of the division that they play in. So right now, am I wrong? Should I include the Orioles? And if I do, are you comfortable saying there's just 4 great teams in baseball right now?
I think you should include the Orioles because they're great. The thing that they're missing is a closer, but they have so much collateral in the minor leagues that they can go out and get a closer. Mm-hmm. I think that's their negative on their team. I still think the Astros are in play. In terms of being a good team, the Texas Rangers still have a run in them. Minnesota Twins are decent, but they can't beat the Yankees. So I think it's fair what you're saying. Yankees are one of four of the best teams in baseball.
It's very fluid, so things can change in a couple of months. There's a lot of games, so maybe we'll look at the end of August, and Texas and Houston and Atlanta will be much better teams. But right now, I think we've got enough of a sample size to say these are the elite teams in baseball, and I think you got to feel very good that the Yankees are probably the best of them. Time will only tell, but you got to be absolutely thrilled with their start. They have not missed Cole at all. So Cole's going to walk into a situation, Michael, he can really only make worse. He can't make it better because everybody on that rotation has been a stud to where you're thinking actually debating having a 6-man rotation because who are you taking out? I guess with Schmidt hurt, that makes it a little easier. But before then, what were you going to do?
If you look at the strengths of the Yankees, now we're going to talk about Soto and Judge because that's the obvious strength. And Volpe's played very well as well. It's the Yankee pitching. And the guy who's pitching tonight against the Twins, Luis Heel, he's lined up to start the American League All-Star game, which is unbelievable. So he replaced Garrett Cole, who started the American League All-Star team last year. And he's going to, unless he has a collapse in June. And you can make the case, Don, that Rodon, Stroman, and Heel should all be on the American League All-Star game. They should all be on the team. That's how good they've been. Clay Holmes should be on the American League All-Star team. Their pitching has been a huge reason for their pitchers every single game to give you 5 innings plus and give 2 innings or two runs or fewer. That's the way you win games. And their offense is pretty amazing right now. And you still don't have Rizzo clicking. LeMahieu's still finding his way. So this is really a great team, and what they did on the last time the Yankees did a 3-city West Coast trip, and they won all 3 series. You have to go back to 1998. It's not done. It's hard to win on the West Coast. The time change, all of that. It's just different, and the Yankees went and dominated. They swept the Giants. Giants aren't bad, but the Yankees caught the Giants at the right time. They are really ravaged. They should have won all three against the Angels. That was the game where they blew the lead, or was that? Yeah, that was when they blew the lead. So they should have been 8-1, but they're 7-2. You take that and you run with it. But you look at what Judge has done since the beginning of May. And, a lot of people were calling in, they should bench Judge. You worried about... No, and I said, I'm not worried as long as he's not hurt. And obviously he wasn't hurt. What we saw in April was Aaron Judge going through spring training. But as he was struggling in April, Juan Soto was amazing. Amazing. And I made a comment. I'm not going to give you the name because I wasn't talking on the record with the guy, but a high person in the Yankee organization. And I said to that person, I said, I have never seen anybody like Juan Soto. And the guy raised his eye to me and said, really? I said, yeah. I said, don't you think he's great? He goes, yeah, he is great. He said, but you've never seen it? I said, no. And he said, you've been here during the Aaron Judge years, right? And I said, yeah. He said, Aaron Judge is just as good, as not better. And I've got to recalibrate, guys. I don't know how you feel about it, but Juan Soto might win the MVP. And the only reason that Judge won't win the MVP is because of that April. But I think Judge is better than Soto.
Well, you're not ruling out Judge because of the April, are you?
No, but I mean, if he ends up losing, Peter,
it would be because of
it's hard to make up for that April. His April was really bad. He's been amazing now, but. And I'm not talking about long term because Soto's 25 and Judge is 31. So if you're taking a guy for the long term, you're taking Soto simply because of the age and his greatness. But when you look at the two of them, when they're both clicking and they both are clicking and they're both looking great, Judge is better. Judge is a better outfielder. He's probably a better base runner. He always hits for a high average. This year, Soto is actually leading the American League in hitting. He could win the batting title. And Judge hits more home runs. Although Soto has a load of home runs again, they're really close. But anybody looks at Soto and go, well, he's the best player I've ever seen. Well, you're not watching Aaron Judge. I think we take those that have grown up in the Yankee organization, we take them for granted because we look at Soto, he's the new toy, and we go, wow, this is the greatest I've ever seen. No, Judge is one of the greatest players we've ever seen. And I think he's better. I really do. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I think he's better than Soto.
Well, I think you nailed it when you talk about the fact that you take the guy that's been here for granted. Because I don't think a lot of people paid attention to Juan Soto. If you're a Yankee fan, the guy was playing for the Nationals and the Padres. You knew who he was. You watched the World Series a few years ago when he was, 18, 19 years old when he won a championship. But you couldn't appreciate him. He was far away, and you watch Judge all the time. And now you're seeing this guy every day, and you're like, oh, my God, I didn't know he was this good. So that kind of exaggerates how you feel about him. But the one area that everybody looks at that we kind of poo-poo, but honestly, it's something that really gets looked at analytically is WAR. And despite having more home runs and more RBIs, less home runs, but more RBIs and a way better batting average is that Judge's WAR is 3.9 and Soto's is 3.5.
And that's with an awful April.
Significant. And that's with an awful April. And so that's how it all factors in. And with the fancy stats, he's got a better slugging percentage. He's got a better OPS, a little bit better on base plus slugging. So there's a lot of things where Judge hasn't beat. Plus, and I think this is the case throughout their careers, I think Judge is a better defender. So that has to get factored into it as well.
How much of a better defender?
Judge has an arm that's better than most I've seen. You got probably go back to guys like Darryl Strawberry and probably Puig. It's right up there, Michael, right?
Michael, how close? You watch them every night. How close do you say they are?
Those are the two arms that pop to mind, Michael, when I think of Judge, is Darryl Strawberry and Puig from the Dodgers.
Well, I think it's a fair question, Peter, because I think that Soto was much better than I thought he was defensively. We were led to believe that he was a hack. He's not a hack. But in terms of tracking balls and things like that, I think Judge is just a little bit better. Soto has a good arm, too. So I don't think it's as drastic as we made it out to be, but I still think Judge is a better outfielder. And also, Judge is playing center field. I mean, the selflessness that this guy has, he shouldn't be playing center field at that age, at that size, but he's doing it because Soto should be in right, and that's the best defensive configuration for the Yankees. So I mean, he checks all the boxes. Judge is just unbelievable. For him to go into San Francisco, they treated him like he was a pariah. This is a hometown kid. Now, you can't say Linden is like, he grew up in Brooklyn. Linden is 95 miles from San Francisco, but the Giants are their team. And that was his team growing up. Okay, cool, I get it. And he was looking for, he never played there before, and they booed him every single time he came up, which is rare for him because he's a universally liked player. And he just excelled. I mean, it was unbelievable how he stepped up. And then Soto stepped up. I think both of them are driving each other. Neither one doesn't want to be the alpha male. So you've got two alpha males that are not ceding any of their alphaism, if you know what I mean. They both want to be the best. And if they keep driving themselves to be the best, it's only good for the Yankees. So it's been an unbelievable watch. And it's funny, I think that after the Rangers lost on Saturday, now all eyes are on the Yankees. I think the Yankee season has finally begun. I mean, people didn't watch the Yankees compile this record because the Knicks were in contention, the Rangers were in contention. Now they're both out. Now baseball season, like it did in '94, it starts pretty much in the middle of June. And I think people are going to enjoy this Yankee team because it's fun to watch.
Well, and thank God that they're playing this way. I mean, the Mets are at such a level of dumpster fire that like it's just not even fun anymore. Until there's moves made, there's just no story there. And the Yankees, had they just been having sort of one of their mundane Yankee seasons where they're hanging out 6-7 games above 500, they look pretty good. I'll be honest, I would probably be pretty pessimistic about my radio time here over the next few months. But with them playing the way they're playing, Michael, even if you're a casual, it's hard not to be excited about what they're doing.
I agree.
This is a different beast.
They're doing it in a very exciting way. And, we talk about Judge and Soto. One guy, again, when you see somebody 13 times a year, like I did with Verdugo, you don't get an appreciation of what the guy's about. He's been tremendous for this team. He's a really good left fielder. He has +9 defensive run save. That's the best left fielder in baseball. He is great out there, and that's not hyperbole saying he's great. I didn't know that when he played in left field at Fenway Park. What does it mean playing left field at Fenway Park? Even when they put him in right field. Okay, again, you only see him 13 times. Like, we didn't see Juan Soto much. But Verdugo's been a big part of this. And another guy's been a huge part of it is Volpe. And you can't tell me that Volpe doesn't benefit from hitting in front of Juan Soto. That was a huge triple that he had on Sunday. Little bits and pieces of this team have contributed. Now, Gleyber Torres still hasn't played well. Still hasn't. Makes mistakes in the field. Anthony Rizzo has not been a lights-out defender, nor has he come close to the guy who hits 32 home runs, I think, 5 times in his career. Those things haven't happened. They've gotten great production behind the plate, both defensively and offensively. LeMahieu's going to really shore up third base. I think he's going to hit very well. This is a really fun team, and Yankee fans should sit back and watch. I think even Paul and Trenton has to like this team.
Yeah, and I mentioned this yesterday, Michael, that I do get a feeling like the fans are having a good time. Like 2 years ago when they got off to the great start and Judge was hitting the home runs, it was Wise Gallo in the lineup, still killing Cashman, wake me up when it's October. But I think Soto has added an element of fun along with what Judge has done. And Verdugo, you can't complain about Cashman at this point. Everybody that he brought in here has done the job for the most part. He goes out and trades for Soto, gets Verdugo. Both are playing great. Now you're seeing why he would refused to trade Volpe when he had the chance to do it. The pitching has been unbelievable. As you said, Heel might actually start the All-Star game. So I think this is actually a year where Yankee fans, instead of judging it until October, that'll come. All right, they will be held to their feet will be to the fire once they get to the playoffs, like every other Yankee team. But it does feel like this year Yankee fans might actually be having some fun.